Child, Joe Rogan just spilled some serious tea on the wild scenes he witnessed at Diddy's parties. And when I say it's worse than we ever thought, I mean it. Just when we think that the stories about Diddy's freak-offs couldn't get any darker, Joe came with some wild tea about some wild stuff that he allegedly saw Beyonce getting up to at Diddy's parties that was caught on tape. Child, it looks like the rumors of Diddy and Beyonce getting up to some freaky stuff at his parties, and Joe Rogan has a lot to say about this, so let's break this down. What's wild about Joe Rogan's latest claims about Diddy's parties and Beyonce is that he's actually not the first to spill on it. A couple of weeks back, celebrity lawyer Ariel Mitchell Kidd already dropped some hints, but folks kind of brushed it off, thinking she was just hyping up her case against Diddy. But now that Joe's chiming in, oh, things are definitely heating up. And let's talk about Joe for a second. He's been keeping the pressure on Diddy from the jump. When Cassie first put her foot down and exposed him, Joe was one of the first to say Diddy wasn't alone in all of this. He hinted that other celebs were about to get dragged into this mess too.
Diddy is too big to fail. Way too big. Homeland Security didn't raid Diddy's mansions to get evidence. That is the real reason Homeland Security raided his mansion, was to get rid of evidence. Everything has been erased. Everyone is going to slide. You can write that down.
We knew Joe had more dirt than he was letting on, but for a while there, he kept quiet and left us all hanging. Then, as soon as Ariel Mitchell opened the floodgates with her claims, Joe was more than ready to jump in and spill the tea. Alright, buckle up, because Ariel Mitchell Kidd is not playing any games with Diddy. She's back with yet another lawsuit, adding another alleged victim to the list of people accusing him of seriously disturbing behavior from a few years ago. Ariel's been on his case for a minute now. She recently took on a client who accused Diddy of some horrific SA, saying he allegedly spiked her drink before things took a dark turn. Here's the breakdown. Ariel says her client met Diddy in 2018 at a mutual friend spot, a well-known hangout for industry big name. According to the client, Diddy allegedly her drink, then her using an object, and even roped in another man to join while he sat back watching and pleasuring himself. The client also claims Diddy's assistant Christina Quorum was there witnessing the whole nightmare and didn't lift a finger to help. And how did the internet react to this? Well, let's just say people were shook. Some folks were already side-eyeing Diddy after previous allegations, but this revelation set social media ablaze with shock and outrage as more people started questioning just how deep the alleged really goes.
So she called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the assault. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Quorum, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his like right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself.
Here's the real jaw dropper. Even when the police showed up, they barely glanced Diddy's way. Are we surprised though? Word on the street is that he's been cozy with law enforcement for years, allegedly flashing cash to keep his mess under wraps and make any problems vanish. And Cassie and Lil Rod, they went all in with their lawsuits, accusing him of weaponizing fear to silence his victims. They claim he wasn't just throwing empty threats. He allegedly went as far as threatening their lives if they dared to speak out.
Due to the high-profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without.
Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be.
So what does this have to do with Beyonce? Well, Ariel also dropped another bombshell, saying a new client reached out with claims of having a video featuring a major celebrity. According to Ariel, this client wanted her help negotiating a deal to sell the tape, which supposedly shows one of the industry's biggest names completely unaware that they were being recorded.
Recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
Fans wasted no time going full detective mode, piecing things together, and quickly zeroing in on a theory that the mystery celebrity might just be Beyonce. After all, she's one of the few stars who truly outshines Diddy, and her long-standing ties to him through Jay-Z have been public knowledge for years. Fans really got to work putting up old receipts from other celebs who hinted at seeing her at Diddy's parties. Case in point, there's this interview DaBaby did where he kind of made it sound like Beyonce might have been trying to make a move on him.
This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know,
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
Right.
at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was super dope.
What's some of the best cities that you toured in? You've been all over the world.
And that's not even the half of it. Fans also dug up that infamous cheesecake incident when Diddy made his artist walk over 4 hours just to grab him a slice. Back then, we all thought it was just Diddy being extra and flexing on his artist for no reason. But here's the twist. Freddie P recently spilled in an interview that the cheesecake wasn't even for Diddy. It was for Beyonce. Apparently, Beyonce allegedly made Diddy send the boys on that wild cheesecake run just to satisfy her craving.
Okay, fun fact a lot of people don't know. That cheesecake we went and got was for Beyonce. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact people don't know. People like, y'all walked and got a cheesecake. It was for Beyonce. I'll do it again. But yeah, because at first he was like, I want some cheesecake. But we took all night to do the process, right? So when we got back, it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. And me and Dallon got back first. Let me tell you how green these niggas is. So I'm the type, I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake. but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He didn't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know the first thing that nigga said out of his mouth? He said, we got the cheesecake. He was like, I want that shit. Take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we want to tell you, Fred and Darlon, they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He's like, I ain't tell you niggas to walk.
Earlier this year, Jaguar Wright came through with a shocking revelation, claiming there's a tape of Beyonce in a compromising situation floating around. According to Jaguar, Beyonce had no clue she was being recorded. Apparently, she had no idea there was a camera in the room at all when it happened.
Because the Diddy. Oh! Diddy done turned over tapes. Allegedly, with the Carters, in some freak off. And the Beyonce. How on the and the tapes had jizz all over it.
So yeah, it looks like Beyonce needs to be very careful because it looks like there are a lot of people who are ready to snitch on her. And Joe Rogan is one of them. And one thing about Joe, he always has a lot to say. Fans commented, all the celebrities are involved. I can't believe people don't think otherwise. You can't be in Diddy's circle for 30 years and not know or not be a part of it because we know Diddy's rules were if you hang out, you participate, or you are not hanging out. Anyone who participated in or supported P. Diddy freak-off events or similar behavior should be exposed and held accountable. They must face consequences in a court of law, ensuring that such actions are not tolerated. Justice is essential for those harmed and for upholding ethical standards, and just shut all of Hollywood down, including the sign. This is a mess, but y'all drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.